This video, we're going to go through some revision notes for Biology 0610 Cambridge IGCSE for topic 7, Human Nutrition. So let's begin. Importance of food for organisms. Organisms need food for raw materials for repair, growth, and development of tissues, and it is a source of energy. Of course, without energy, our tissues cannot repair, growth, and develop. Balanced diet. Balanced diet is all food groups in correct proportion. All food groups include carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, vitamins, minerals, dietary fiber, and water. Let's use this table to understand all the food groups. This table includes the food type, its function, and the sources of this food. Carbohydrates function is a source of energy. Sources of carbohydrates is bread, pasta, rice, and potatoes. Proteins is for growth and repair. Sources of protein is meat, fish, eggs, nuts, and etc. Lipids is insulation of energy and storage. Sources of lipids is butters, oil, and nuts. Dietary fiber. The function of dietary fiber is to provide a roughage for the intestine to push food through it smoothly. The sources of dietary fiber is vegetables and whole grains. Vitamin and minerals are both needed in small quantities to maintain health. Sources of both vitamin and minerals is fruits and vegetables. Some minerals can be obtained through meats and dairy products, such as mineral calcium obtained through milk. Water is needed for chemical reactions that take place in the cytoplasm of the cell. And sources of water is water itself, juice, milk, fruits, and vegetables. Anything that contains liquid is a source of water. This is the vitamin and mineral requirements for humans. So we have two vitamins here, vitamin C and vitamin D, and we have two minerals, calcium and iron. We're going to study the function and its sources. So vitamin C, the function of vitamin C in humans is it forms collagen. Collagen is a protein that makes up skin, hair, and gums and bones. Deficiency of vitamin C causes scurvy. Sources of vitamin C is citrus fruits, strawberries, and green vegetables. The next vitamin is vitamin D. Vitamin D helps the body to absorb calcium and it is required for strong bones and teeth. Sources of vitamin D is oily fish, eggs, liver, dairy products, and you can also obtain vitamin D naturally from sunlight. As for the minerals, we have calcium and iron. Calcium is Ca+2, iron is Fe. Calcium is needed for strong teeth and bones. It's involved in clotting of the blood. Deficiency of calcium can lead to osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is weakened bones. Sources of calcium is milk, cheese, and eggs. The next mineral is iron. Iron is needed to make hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a red pigment in red blood cells that gives them their color, and hemoglobin helps to transport oxygen. So it's needed for the red blood cells inside your body. Sources of iron is red meat, liver, leafy green vegetables, and spinach. We're going to skip this part regarding calories, as this part is excluded from the new syllabus. Individual dietary needs. Factor and the dietary needs for humans. Age. Amount of energy increases the total adulthood as energy is needed for growth. So as you're growing from a child to adulthood, your total input of energy needed will increase, but after a certain age, after adulthood, your energy needs will eventually begin to decrease. As your metabolism will decrease and your energy needed for growth will also decrease as you have finished the optimum age limit of growth. Factor is activity levels. The more active you are, the more energy required for movement. As the more active you are, the more faster the muscles are contracting. And as muscles contract faster, there is a faster rate of respiration. The third one is pregnancy. During pregnancy, energy is needed to support the growth of the fetus. And extra calcium and iron, these two minerals are very important for pregnancy uh, because it helps to build the bones and teeth and blood of the fetus. Breastfeeding needs extra calcium. Calcium is a mineral to make high quality breast milk for the fetus or the baby. Malnutrition and undernutrition. Malnutrition is bad feeding due to these three factors: eating too much, excess food will be stored as glycogen or fat; eating too little, body tissues will break down to be respired; or eating foods in the wrong proportion. Undernutrition is not receiving enough energy and nutrients for metabolism, growth, and development of tissues. Overnutrition can cause obesity. Obese is a person with fat storage beyond a healthy limit. A BMI exceeded the healthy limit. Obesity relevant diseases is diabetes, arthritis, and arthrosis. So these are the three diseases that can be caused by obesity. Of course, there are more, but these are the three that are included in our syllabus. Dangers of an unbalanced diet. This is usually caused by obesity, high blood pressure due to too much salt, sodium chloride in the diet. This damages the blood vessels, making them narrow. Tooth decay due to a high amount of acidic and sugary foods, which destroys the enamel during tooth decay. Coronary heart disease, too much saturated fat and cholesterol. This causes blockage in the coronary blood vessel or coronary artery supplying oxygen to the heart muscle. As the coronary artery is blocked, it can cause angina and heart attack. Constipation and bowel cancer due to too little much amount of fiber, or colon large bowel cancer and the large intestine. All right. The deficiencies included in our syllabus. We have two deficiencies included in our syllabus: scurvy and rickets. Scurvy is severe vitamin C deficiency caused by lack of vitamin C in this diet for over 3 months. The treatment and symptoms. Treatment of scurvy is oral intravenous vitamin C supplements. Symptoms is anemia, exhaustion, swelling, bleeding gums, tooth loss, limb pain, and gum ulcers. So, not consuming vitamin C for over 3 months will cause scurvy. You can take oral intravenous vitamin C supplements to cure scurvy, and the most common symptom of scurvy is bleeding gums. The second one is rickets. Rickets is severe vitamin D deficiency caused by poor bone development. It mostly occurs in children. The treatment and symptoms. To treat rickets, you can eat high calcium and vitamin D foods or take vitamin D supplements. Rickets symptoms is bone pain, slow bone growth, and soft, weakened, or deformed bones. Vitamin D is very essential for absorption of calcium into the body because calcium is a key component for bones and teeth. This is a summary of everything taken up till now. Food, its elements, its function and sources. Protein, carbohydrates, and lipids. Elements present in protein is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, sometimes sulfur. Function is tissue repair. The sources of protein is meat and fish. Carbohydrates and lipids have the same elements, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Both act as an energy source. Source of carbohydrates is pasta, rice, potatoes, etc. Lipids is butter, oils, nuts, and etc. Okay, now we're done with the nutrition part of this chapter. Now we're going to start the digestive system. First, we're going to identify the organs of the digestive system. In the organs of the digestive system, we have the accessory digestive structures and the alimentary canal. Mouth, esophagus, stomach, bile duct, large intestine, rectum, and anus are all part of the alimentary canal, as well as small intestine. Appendix is cancelled from the syllabus. While pancreas, gallbladder, liver, and salivary glands are all part of the accessory organs. This is a summary intro to the organs and their functions. The mouth and salivary glands. The function of the mouth is mechanical digestion. So mechanical digestion takes place in the mouth, where the teeth chew food to break it down and increase the surface area to volume ratio of the food. And it forms a small bolus of food, which bolus is a small food bowl. The mouth also contains salivary glands. Salivary glands contain amylase enzymes. In the saliva, amylase enzymes are secreted from the salivary glands to digest starch into maltose, and food is shaped into a bolus after all this and lubricated into the esophagus. Esophagus is the tube that connects the mouth to the stomach, where the food bolus goes after being swallowed, and esophagus uses peristalsis. Peristalsis is wave-like contractions in the esophagus to push the food down into the stomach, and it works without relying on gravity. So, for example, if we invert a human being, if he's upside down, peristalsis will still work and food will still go to the stomach. Stomach is where food is mechanically and chemically digested. It's mechanically digested by churning, muscle contractions in the stomach, and it's chemically digested by protease enzymes. Protease enzymes chemically digest proteins using hydrochloric acid to kill the bacteria and provide optimum pH for protease enzymes to work at their best. After stomach digests the food by mechanical and chemical digestion, the food is moved into the small intestine. The first section of the small intestine is the duodenum, where the food coming out of the stomach finishes being digested by enzymes, and it is secreted into the second section, which is the ileum. During the whole process, the the pH is alkaline in the small intestine, ranging from pH 8 to 9, high pH. And in the ileum, absorption of the digested food molecules takes place. Ileum is very long and lined with finger-like structures known as villi to increase the surface area and absorption. After the small intestine, where food has been absorbed, it moves into the large intestine. Large intestine absorbs all the water remaining in the food, and it produces a feces. This feces is stored in the rectum, and in the right time, it is excreted out from the anus. Accessory organs: pancreas, liver, and gallbladder. Pancreas produces all three types of digestive enzymes: amylase to digest starch, protease to digest proteins, and lipase to digest fats. It secretes enzyme in alkaline fluid, pH 8 to 9, into the duodenum for digestion to reach the pH of the fluid coming out of the stomach. As stomach has low pH, so these enzymes in the alkaline fluid reach the pH to enter the duodenum. Liver produces bile. Bile emulsifies fats. It breaks large fat droplets into smaller fat droplets. This is an example of mechanical digestion. Gallbladder stores bile to release it into the duodenum for emulsification of fats. Alright, nutrition. Nutrition is the taking in of nutrients, organic substances, and mineral ions to absorb and assimilate them. The process of nutrition converts food molecules into a form that can be used by the organism. In humans, nutrition takes place in the alimentary canal or the gut. This is a specialized tube running from the mouth to the rear anus, where food only passes through these organs, while the accessory organs does not let food pass through them. There are 5 stages of food breakdown. The first one is ingestion. During ingestion, the food is taken in through the body, through the mouth. So once you place food into your mouth, this is the process of ingestion. After ingestion, we have mechanical digestion. During mechanical digestion, food is broken down into smaller pieces to increase the surface area without any chemical change. The third one is chemical digestion. Chemical digestion is breakdown of large insoluble molecules into small soluble molecules with chemical change. The fourth one is absorption. Absorption is the movement of small food molecules or ions through the walls of the intestine into the blood. After small food molecules have been moved into the intestine through the blood, this movement of digested molecules is then used by the cells in the body, and this process is known as assimilation. After assimilation, the last process is egestion, which is the passing out of the undigested food that has not been absorbed in the form of feces through the anus. So after assimilation is done and all the necessary minerals and ions are used by the body, the undigested food is absorbed by the large intestine and is stored as feces and excreted out through the anus. Physical digestion is the same thing as mechanical digestion. This helps to increase the surface area of food for the action of enzymes during chemical digestion. Physical digestion can be carried by chewing of the teeth, known as mastication, churning of the stomach by muscle contractions, and emulsification of fats by the bile in the duodenum, first level of the small intestine. So the first part of the digestive system where ingestion takes place is the mouth, and in the mouth we have teeth. Teeth perform mastication. Mastication is the cutting and mixing of food in saliva by teeth and tongue to produce a bolus. Bolus is a ball of food that's swallowed and passed on to the next part of the gut. Some facts about teeth: they are held firmly in the jawbone, and they are used for chewing to increase the surface area of food so it can be broken down more quickly. This is a teeth structure in the skull. These are the incisors, these are the canines, premolars, molars, and this is the lower jawbone known as the mandible. This is the upper jawbone. This is an illustration of all the types of teeth. There are 4 types of teeth: incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. Incisors are chisel-shaped for biting and cutting. Canines are pointed, shaped for tearing and biting. Premolars and molars are both large and flat, or with ridged edges, as you can see, for chewing and grinding. This is the tooth structure. We have the nerves. These are the nerves. This is the enamel, the outer layer of the tooth. This is the gum holding the pulp cavity. This is the cement, the white structure of the tooth that we see. This is the jawbone, and these are blood capillaries. Teeth transformation. So first, we have milk dentition. Milk dentition is the milk teeth that grows at the gums at 5 months old. After 5 months, once the child has reached 18 months, the child has developed about 20 teeth approximately. By 7 to 12 years, milk teeth fall and they are replaced with adult teeth and 8 new cheek teeth. By 17 years, wisdom tooth appears at the back, and after 17 years, an individual has completed the permanent dentition of 32 teeth. Of course, this is not accurate. This is just the average of humans in our syllabus. Process of tooth decay. Tooth decay. During tooth decay, bacteria from food remains on teeth to produce a sticky matrix. So, of course, all food contains bacteria. This bacteria remains on the teeth and produces a sticky matrix. This matrix, it traps food particles and forms a coating on the teeth. This coating converts the sugar in our mouth into acids by respiration. This acid destroys the enamel, the outer layer of the tooth, by removing calcium and phosphate from the enamel and allows bacteria to reach the softer dentine beneath it. How to prevent tooth decay? Eat low sugar foods, avoid fizzy drinks, and regular brushing and rinsing of the mouth with water. This is an illustration of the process of tooth decay, where bacteria has come on food, on the surface of your teeth. It penetrates the dentine. During this time, you're going to have severe toothache. After this, the sticky matrix converts the sugar into acid, and this breaks the dentine, and this causes the calcium and phosphate to be removed, and bacteria breaks down the teeth membrane. Peristalsis. Peristalsis are wave-like contractions pushing the bolus down the esophagus. This is the cross-section of the gut showing the muscle layers in the esophagus. And this is the bolus, food after being chewed, moving through the esophagus by muscle contractions. Stomach. Stomach is the organ which digests food by churning. Churning is when the stomach lining muscles, they contract physically and squeeze. This mixes the food with strong digestive gastric juices, usually the HCl present inside the stomach, where long protein molecules are broken down by hydrolysis into smaller amino acids and they form a liquid known as chyme. So during the stomach, churning causes long protein molecules to be broken into amino acids by a process known as hydrolysis. There are three types of tissue in the stomach: muscular tissue, epithelial tissue, and glandular tissue. There are three adaptations of the stomach. The stomach contains mucus to protect the walls of the stomach by attack of stomach gastric juices. So it contains mucus. This is a protective layer which protects the stomach from attacks of gastric juices that can destroy the muscles lining in the stomach. It contains pepsin and protease. This is a digestive enzyme to digest protein with optimum pH of 2. It produces gastric juices as hydrochloric acid, HCl. HCl is an acid that kills the bacteria in food and gives acid low pH for enzyme in the stomach to work at optimum pH. The low pH in the hydrochloric acid, first it kills bacteria because it denatures the enzymes, because enzymes denature as the pH is moved too far away or too far close, and it also ensures the conditions in the stomach remain within optimum pH range for the enzymes to work at their fastest rate. After the digestion in the stomach, the liquid formed by the churning of the stomach squeezes past the pyloric sphincter. It is a ring of muscle at a foot of the stomach to enter the duodenum. The duodenum is the first part of the small intestine. This is an illustration of the stomach where we have glandular tissue, epithelial tissue, and smooth muscle tissue. Digestive enzymes present in our body. The first one is digestion of starch. Amylase digests starch into smaller sugars as maltose. Maltose is a disaccharide. There are two types of enzymes: salivary amylase and pancreatic amylase. Salivary amylase is produced in the mouth and is secreted into the alimentary canal in the mouth. Pancreatic amylase is produced in the pancreas and is secreted into the duodenum in the small intestine. After amylase digests starch into maltose, either by salivary amylase or pancreatic amylase, then the maltase is another enzyme that digests maltose into glucose. This occurs on the membranes of epithelium lining of the small intestine. So this is a molecule of starch. This is a molecule of starch. Amylase digests the starch into maltose, and the maltase digests it into maltose and maltose into glucose. The next is the digestion of proteins. For the digestion of proteins, we have proteases. This is a group of enzymes that break down proteins into amino acids in the stomach and duodenum. So, protease is a group of enzymes that breaks down proteins into smaller groups. The basic unit of protein, which is amino acids, there are two main enzymes produced: pepsin and trypsin. Pepsin is produced in the stomach to break down protein in acidic conditions with a low pH. Trypsin is produced in the pancreas and secreted into the duodenum to break down protein in alkaline conditions with a high pH. This is protease in a protein molecule, and protease breaks it down into amino acids, either pepsin or trypsin. The third digestive enzyme is digestion of lipids by bile. Lipase breaks down lipids into triglycerides, which is fatty acids, and glycerol. This is a lipid. Lipid is broken down into triglyceride, glycerol, and 3 fatty acids using lipase. Lipase is produced in the pancreas and secreted into the duodenum. Pancreas contains hydrogen carbonate to neutralize the acid from the stomach. This is a table of digestive enzymes. The enzyme is amylase. Site of action of amylase is mouth and duodenum. With a pH of 8 and 9, amylase digests starch into maltose, and maltase digests maltose into glucose. Protease is in the stomach and duodenum, Stomach has pH of 2, duodenum pH of 8. Protease digests protein into amino acids. Lipase is in the duodenum. Lipase with a pH of 8. Lipase digests fat into fatty acids and glycerol. Maltase is in the duodenum. Maltase digests maltose include glucose with pH 8. Trypsin and pepsin, trypsin in the duodenum, pepsin in the stomach. Pepsin pH 2, trypsin pH 8 to digest protein into amino acids. Bile. Bile is a digestive juice produced by cells in the liver and it's stored in the gallbladder. The main role of bile is it is alkaline and it contains hydrogen carbonate. This neutralizes the HCl produced by the stomach, and enzymes in the small intestines have more alkaline optimum pH than those in the stomach. So the first role of bile is that it contains hydrogen carbonate. HCl is a very reactive acid and it's dangerous for the small intestine. So before the chyme reaches the small intestine, bile is produced through the gallbladder and it neutralizes the HCl so it does not damage the small intestine. The next function of bile is emulsification of fats. Emulsification is a form of mechanical digestion where large fat droplets are broken down into smaller fat droplets to increase the surface area for the enzyme lipase to chemically break down lipids into fatty acids and glycerol later. This is another table of digestive enzymes. It is a summary of what we have taken above. This is a diagram or illustration of emulsification, where large fat droplets are broken into smaller fat droplets. The bile is produced in the liver and is stored in the gallbladder. This is the bile duct, which transports bile into the small intestine for emulsification of fats and to neutralize the HCl from the chyme. Liver. The main function of the liver is to sort out digestive food molecules in the bloodstream. All foods absorbed into the capillaries is first sent to the liver. This is a list of few biochemical reactions inside liver cells. The manufacture of bile, digestion of fats. They store glucose as glycogen. They intraconvert glucose, glycogen, and amino acids. They remove all red blood cells. Detoxification, removal of alcohol plus toxins, and deamination. Deamination is the excretion of excess amino acids in the urine as urea. The last section of this chapter is all about water absorption and the small intestine. Water is a solvent for biochemical and hydrolysis reactions for digestion. Hydrolysis, which occurs in the digestive system in the stomach. Water is absorbed in both the small intestine and colon, but 80% of absorption of water occurs in the small intestine. Egestion and absorption. Egestion is absorption of water from the contents that remain undigested after the digestion. This is stored in the rectum as feces and excreted through the anus. Absorption is the movement of digested food molecules from the digestive system into the blood or lymph. Blood is glucose and amino acids. Lymph is for fatty acids and glycerol. The last section is the adaptations of the small intestine. The small intestine contains the first part, ileum. Ileum is a very long part of the small intestine, almost about 6 meters long. It's highly folded surface and it contains millions of villi. Villi are tiny finger-like projections to increase the surface area of ileum for faster and efficient absorption. And the walls of villus are 1 cell thick for short distance absorption by diffusion and active transport. These are supplied with a network of blood capillaries to transport glucose and amino acids away from the small intestine into the blood, and there are lacteal runs through the center of the villus in the small intestine cell. These transport fatty acids and glycerol, triglycerides, away from the small intestine and lymph.